welcome everybody. My name is Jack Croce, and I lead the installer outreach program at Schneider Electric Solar. And I'd like to welcome everybody to a launch presentation of InsightHome and InsightFacility, which is the next generation of our XW and SW cloud-based system monitoring and control. So with that, I would like to introduce Eric Bentsen, who is our Senior Application Engineer, and he is going to introduce to you InsightHome and InsightFacility. Go ahead, Eric.
Thank you, Jack. And yeah, so for those of you that are familiar with our gateway is becoming InsightHome and InsightFacility. So let's go ahead and get started here today. Starting out with who we are, Schneider Electric is a global organization. You can see the breakdown here in front of you. We specialize in industrial automation and energy management. We're very proud to be a growing technology company providing energy and automation, digital solutions for efficiency and sustainability for our customers around the world while continuing our strong commitment to innovation. I'm proud to announce Schneider Electric was voted as the #1 sustainable corporation in the world by the Global 100 Index. Schneider Electric Solar brings a wealth of experience and product knowledge that spans over 2 decades. We're proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with other leading brands such as Square D, APC, and ASCO. Schneider Electric is committed to meeting the needs of the world's energy future with safe, reliable, and intuitive products that will and have continued to stand the test of time. Solar with storage is still in its infancy, and we're here to influence, enhance, and innovate our way toward an exciting future in energy management. So let's take a look at the suite of products that we offer in our solar portfolio. Our communication standard is based on Schneider Electric's EcoStructure, which consists of a hierarchy of connected products, which would be our inverter chargers, our charge controllers, our accessories, and edge control, which will include gateway, InsightHome and InsightFacility, and then apps, analytics, and services, which include our cloud and our configuration tool. So XW the Pro is an evolution of the legacy XW. We've taken all of the great functions and features that makes the XW famous in the market. We have literally tens of thousands of them still in operation today that are over a decade in service. XW, the legacy model came out in 2006. It was a split phase model, true sine wave output. We could be configured for single or 3-phase. Fast forward to 2014, we released the XW Plus model, which integrated lithium ion support as well as AC coupling support. And now today we have XW Pro, which is same basic design with robust surge capability, power bridge, but it has a completely new and redesigned control board. This allows XW Pro to comply with local grid standards such as Rule 21, PREPA, and HECO. We offer closed loop communication with several different battery manufacturers. We have improved AC coupling algorithms, and of course, we can integrate with our monitoring platforms as well for command and control over the cloud. So XW Pro is the ultimate in backup power. It's proven in the field. It has the best in-class surge capacity of the competition because of its toroidal transformer that offers better storage of energy for surge, and it is actually more efficient. We have a scalable platform. We can stack up to 4 in single phase for a 25 kW nominal system, or up to 6 in 3-phase 12208 for a 40 kW nominal system. Easy to install. They can be mounted zero clearance side by side, ambidextrous knockouts left or right, it really doesn't matter. Or they can be spaced apart as the space of your installation permits, smart energy management, lithium-ion capability, and latest integration with the cloud, as well as utility requirements around North America. Insight Energy Management is in compliance with the latest cybersecurity standards. Insight with Azure Cloud infrastructure is resilient to attack. It safeguards the user again due to the Azure environment and helps keep the customer data secure through encrypted communications, as well as threat management and mitigation practices, including regular penetration testing. So let's take a look at InsightHome. InsightHome is designed for smaller systems. We'll take a look in a little bit about typical system sizings that you can look forward to. But for those of you that are familiar with the gateway, right away you'll notice that there is a single Xanbus port and a Ethernet port for hardwiring to the router. You have your 12-pin connector. We'll talk a little bit about those. You have the USB port and then an on-off. But the InsightHome is very small. It's about the same length and width of, say, an iPhone, but it's just a little bit thicker. So a very small, very lightweight device. You have a power button that can turn the unit on or off. It can also be held down to reset to different levels, including factory defaults. The USB port is used for firmware updates. You can also use USB for discovering the IP address for DHCP when you're hardwired to your router. The 12-pin port allows you to provide power to InsightHome as an alternate source other than AC adapter or Xanbus. It also provides a single CAN bus network connection, a single RS-485 connection, and 2 inputs that are going to be used for features that are on the roadmap. The Ethernet port is used to connect to your router. Xanbus port is used for Xanbus communications. Note it has a single Xanbus port. It is internally terminated to 120 ohms. The power port is for the AC adapter, and then you have an LED indicator on the eye of InsightHome. Have a label up there. The eye is actually an LED indicator, and it will flash green as it's booting, and it'll go solid green once it's fully booted up. Power sources for InsightHome primarily is Xanbus, which connects with a simple Ethernet cable. Cat5 or 5E is what you would typically use. Some of our devices ship with a length of Xanbus cable. You have pins 1 and 3 of the 12-pin connector for external DC sources to power InsightHome. And then lastly, you have the AC adapter, which is not going forward. The AC adapter is not a necessary component of InsightHome or InsightFacility because we primarily use Xanbus to power InsightHome. Xanbus is supplied through the power producing devices such as Connect SW, XW Pro, and the high voltage charge controllers. The only power producing devices that do not provide Xanbus power is the small MPPT 60-150 solar charge controller. However, the MPPT 60 does have a 12-volt auxiliary port on board, and that 12 volts could be used to provide Xanbus power. For those of you that want to know more about how to do that, there is a technical note available that I could send you upon request. So this AC adapter is now going to be provided by a third party. There's the part number. You can see it comes with several different plug configurations for use around the world. This product I've seen for as low as $16. But again, the AC adapter is not a necessary component of InsightHome, so we have decided not to include that. InsightHome, here you can see a typical network configuration. InsightHome would be on either end of the network. It would be the last device. All other Xanbus devices have 2 Xanbus ports that allow you to daisy chain any number of devices together. And then you could see at the other end of the network where the system control panel is on the bottom there, you have a network terminator to close the other end of that network. Now let's take a look at InsightFacility. InsightFacility is basically the same as the gateway. It has a fewer, less LEDs, and it has 3 control buttons instead of 4 on the side. You have removable antennas. The range is a little bit further for Facility than it is for InsightHome. You get a network terminator with InsightFacility. You get a DIN rail for DIN rail mounting. The InsightHome is for wall mounting. With the InsightHome, you get 2 screws with drywall inserts as well. And here you can see the physical dimensions are virtually the same as the gateway, a little bit bigger than InsightHome. Same with InsightFacility, you get a power port for the AC adapter in case you choose to purchase one. And again, you know, there might be some situations where a person would want to have an AC adapter. Let's say you wanted to set up your InsightCloud office before heading to the site. You could do that with an AC adapter, or you could just use a 12-volt power supply and power the appropriate pins on the connector. This particular model has a 26-pin connector. Facility also has 2 Xanbus ports. For those of you that are familiar with the gateway, you know how useful it is for larger systems to have 2 Xanbus ports available. You also have an Ethernet port for hardwiring to a router. That's the way that you choose to get connected initially. We have a 26-pin connector that includes 2 RS-45 connection points, 2 CAN bus connection points, as well as inputs developed for down the road. You have your LED indicators to signify whether it's booted up, whether you have Xanbus, and whether you have warnings. You have a Wi-Fi button to enable or disable the Wi-Fi function, settings button to press and enter device configuration mode, power button to enable or disable InsightFacility, USB port for firmware upgrades or for discovering the IP address as assigned by your router using DHCP, and then you have your adjustable antennas for Wi-Fi. You get Ethernet cable with InsightFacility. Again, that AC adapter is not included. Here you can see a typical system with InsightFacility. You would have to terminate both ends of the network. So to recap the differences between InsightHome and InsightFacility, they both have the same access to the cloud. They both allow system commissioning. They both allow firmware updates. Basically, you're just looking at a single Xanbus network as opposed to dual Xanbus network. And here we can see some typical system sizings that you could look forward to with each. So again, InsightHome has a single Xanbus network. Facility has 2. Max quantity of XW Pro is the same for each, up to 4. XW Pro in single-phase configuration, up to 6 in 3-phase configuration. Total number of XW Pros is 6 for InsightHome. The total, and including charge controllers, the total number of devices, including charge controllers, is 18 for InsightFacility. And there's some examples. For InsightHome, 3 XW Pro, 3 MPPT, and an AGS, or 2 XW Pro, 4 MPPT, AGS, and a battery monitor, or 6 XW Pros without any other charge controllers or accessories. For InsightFacility, you can go up to 6 XW Pro on 1 Xanbus network and 12 MPPTs, AGS, battery monitor for the secondary. It's important to make sure that the AGS is in the same network as the Pro. And lastly, 4 XW Pro on 1 network for single phase plus 12 MPPTs, AGS, and battery monitor on Xanbus 2. So connecting InsightHome and InsightFacility using a web app, you can directly connect to your PC or mobile device using Wi-Fi access point. InsightHome and InsightFacility broadcasts its own Wi-Fi signal. So when you connect to it, you will access the web page for that device, but that will disconnect you from the internet, so you need to be aware of that. Local area network, LAN, a Wi-Fi station mode allows you to connect directly to your router, which in turn passes that connection off to the cloud. And last but not least, hardwired connection from the Ethernet port of InsightHome or InsightFacility directly to your router. And you can connect your computer to that router as well, or you can communicate your computer to the router in Wi-Fi mode. InsightLocal, InsightCloud, InsightMobile. So InsightLocal is what you would see locally on your local area network when you're connected to the gateway. InsightCloud is what you're going to see when you connect to InsightCloud. You're going to push that gateway data to the cloud when you set up your account and assign your InsightHome or InsightFacility to that account, and any number of accounts is possible. There's no limit, as well as any number of sites associated with each account. And then, of course, InsightMobile is your mobile app that allows you to view what's going on with any system from anywhere in the world in real time. So InsightLocal has 3 levels of access. Admin can configure and the InsightHome and the attached devices. A user can view InsightHome Dashboard and the status of the attached devices, but cannot configure InsightHome or attached devices. And a guest can only view the dashboard, which shows the power flow diagram. And there is the dashboard. So those lines with the bubbles that you see there are active. They actually indicate the direction of power flow as well as the magnitude expressed in watts. For the battery, if you have a closed-loop battery or our battery monitor, you'll also be able to see the state of charge as well as the voltage. Our Insight dashboard also has a battery summary tab that will display throughout the day the volts, the current, the temperature of the battery, and the state of charge if you're using our battery monitor or a closed-loop battery. And you can go back to any date that you choose to see what kind of past performance that you've had. And then you can download those to PGN, PDF, or CSV files. InsightLocal Dashboard allows you to view the production for daily, weekly, monthly, lifetime. You can view solar energy, battery charge and discharge, your load energy, as well as grid energy, whether you're charging from the grid or selling energy back to the grid. And of course, any day that you choose to compare, that's also another useful feature for gathering trends of the performance of a particular system. So InsightCloud, InsightMobile, you create your account, you log in with an email address, you create a password, same with the mobile device. InsightCloud, you have the same power flow diagram with active power flow indicated, showing the magnitude and direction of power flow, as well as the app. The mobile app also shows the magnitude and direction of power flow and indicates your battery power, your grid power, your solar power if you're DC coupling, as well as your load energy. And then, of course, if you have a generator, there's also a separate indicator for that as well. You can see the graphs that are available through the cloud and through the mobile device. You will get your production as well as consumption, your battery charging, your export, solar production, all are available to you, as well as events, historical as well as real-time events. You can also see your solar production as well through the cloud or through the app. You also have an event log that will date and time stamp those events, as well as give you the codes for those particular warnings. And that can also be helpful in determining trends and where there's a deficiency in the system. Maybe there's a settings issue. Whenever an event occurs and you're set up with your mobile device, you'll get an immediate push notification to your phone indicating what that event is and when it occurred and on what device. InsightCloud, InsightMobile demo sites are also available. When you establish an account, you can also go in and click on demo and just get an idea of what the app looks like. So to recap, InsightHome and InsightFacility are powerful yet simple energy management tools. Very intuitive. We're connecting on your local area network or through the cloud. InsightHome is designed for smaller systems. InsightFacility is designed for larger systems. InsightCloud is for remote access, including access to settings. That is a huge feature. It really saves on truck roll, especially If it's just a settings issue, you can manage that from the comfort of your own office. And then, of course, InsightMobile for system performance, anywhere at any time. And there on the bottom left, you see the part numbers for InsightHome 865-0330, InsightFacility 865-0335. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can.